Hello everyone, so in this video I want to do a quick review of the Elite Gourmet electric water kettle. And the reason I bought the Elite Gourmet 1.7 liter electric water kettle is because my old water kettle broke last week. And my old one is a very plain and simple, no-brain water kettle that we bought for like almost 10 years ago. It has served the purpose perfectly fine, which is pressing one button and have the water bring to a boil in about 5 to 6 minutes. And then, depending on your needs, you need to cool down the boiling water for a variety of different types of teas, coffees, or things that you need. Now, I'm really glad I bought the Elite Gourmet, this particular model actually, because before that, I simply thought that water kettle is basically one button, water bring to a boil, and that's pretty much it. However, after about a week of use with the Elite Gourmet, I was pleasantly surprised, and I was really glad that I bought this one because the amount of functions and features that this Elite Gourmet model provides in a very economical sense. Okay, so a little bit about the pricing. My old water kettle, I think we bought it at Walmart for about, I think, 15 bucks. This one, it retails on Amazon for $35 shipped. That's including tax. So I bought it, I placed an order. Yes, I placed an order and it arrived the next day. So overnight shipping, which is pretty amazing considering I don't have to go out to the store to buy those stuffs, and the price is very reasonable, right? So price, great, $35. And don't be intimidated by that price, however, because what I'm about to tell you and what I'm about to show you really puts this water kettle way above its competitions in this price range. Okay, and so let's get started. The construction wise, it is mainly plastic for the body and the exterior. There are some stainless steel elements that's visible, but they don't serve any purpose. So, and you can see this area, it looks glass, right? So it is glass. It is actually tempered glass. And the top cover opens by pressing the button over here. So if you just press it, it's spring-loaded. So it's gonna stay open for you to fill the water and other kind of things. There's a pouring spout over here. Looks pretty nice, and it pours very effectively. So quite nice over there. There's a max level indicator in the front. Now this is the front of the water kettle. Okay, so if I switch to the back, this is the back with no logo over here. And the reason I want to show you the front and back is because later on I want to show you something else. And if you have the thing facing front, if you look inside, you will see that the internal feature of the kettle, okay, so the entire water reservoir, which is tempered glass, wrapped in plastic, is, glass, right? The only thing that's not glass in the bottom is that stainless steel heating pad at the bottom. You'll also see one little thing that's protruding over there. Okay, that is a temperature sensor. So now you kind of get an idea where I'm gonna go through, because my old water kettle does not have a temperature sensor. It basically just brings water to a boil and stops. This one has a temperature sensor. What's also good about this one is it's got a indicator for the water level, like somewhere down there. It's hard to see with the reflections, but it's really easy to see when you're actually physically looking at it against the black plastic background. So there's an indicator for minimum level, indicator for 1 liter level, and an indicator for 1.7 liter max level over here. And on the top of the cover, you'll see this little thing, which I also really appreciate for them to include this little filter piece. When you actually close it, the filter piece rests there and locks in place, so nothing from the inside of the kettle gets poured out. And so that's, you know, already sets it apart from other water kettles because of this little filter design. The reason being, now I don't need a separate teapot to have to pour the water into the teapot to brew whatever I want to brew. I can literally just put my tea in here directly, close it, have it brewing, and then just pour it out with this very fine mesh filter over here. Really, really convenient, and I think space saving for in a sense, and also efficient because you are eliminating a tea kettle that's taking extra space and extra steps, right? So I really dig this. So that's pretty much all the exterior functions and the features. Again, as I said, everything else is plastic besides the tempered glass water reservoir with a stainless steel heating pad inside. If you look at the bottom, okay, so a typical looking bottom for any other kind of water kettles. If you look at other water kettle that you have, it's going to have this little ring over here and a little pin at the center. Those are the area that, you know, powers and heats up the heating element, which is contained inside at the bottom of the water kettle. Now the bottom is also plastic covered. One thing you need to take note is do not get this area wet when you're trying to wash the water kettle. So always wash it upright. Okay, don't let water get into this area because you might have run the risk of electrocuting yourself and other people, or causing a fire and things like that. But very easy to clean and wash. You pretty much just run through water and the interior is cleaned really nicely. Okay, it's ETL certified, which basically means it's UL certified for sale in the North America, which is really nice. And button over here, looks like metal, but it's plastic. It's just a chrome coated plastic. All right, so external features aside, the very last thing I want to show you is this little heating element pad, which again, very standard heating element pad. A lot of times those pads look similar, but they're not compatible. So make sure you're using the specific pad for your water kettle that is designed for it. What I like with the cable is that it is actually a nicer quality cable as opposed to some other water kettles that only comes with a 2-prong and a polarized 2-prong and this kind of like thin cable. So yeah, in terms of design, this is nicer designed cable that I like quite a lot. Now I'm gonna connect the thing over here because we have to discuss about the other thing that sets this water kettle apart. Okay, so if you look closely here, you wouldn't know if I don't tell you that this water kettle features a comprehensive selection of temperature ranges and options, and also has a keep warm function. Like, you wouldn't know because you would think, oh, there should be some buttons somewhere else here like other more expensive water kettles, but no, there isn't any buttons. It's also dark over here. There's no indicator. There's no printed indicator, at least. However, what I'm going to show you now, you will understand and appreciate. Okay, I'm going to put it on the pad. Look at that. All the features pops up the moment you connect it to the bottom base. If you lift it off, it's disconnected. You wouldn't know it's temperature controlled. But if you put it here, you'll see. The cool thing is immediately it displays the temperature. Okay, that's the actual temperature inside on top of that heating element. Right now there's no water, so it's reading 80 degrees Fahrenheit, which is my room temperature. And this temperature sensor is actually very sensitive. Okay, it updates every second. So if you're heating anything to a desired temperature, it will be able to do that rather quickly. And to showcase those, I'm gonna actually just fill the water to 1.7 liter max, and then we're gonna start heating it and are just showing you some of those functions, which is the selling point of the Elite Gourmet temperature controlled water kettle right here. All right, so I'll be back. All right, I am back. Okay, so as you can see, I filled the water. You can see there's water at almost max level. And I connect it, and everything is connected very nicely. So let's see. Try to show you guys better. Zooming a little bit. All right, so right now it displays 83. That's a water temperature. Okay, so the tap water seems to be a little bit warmer than my room temperature, which is interesting. Now over here there are 8 buttons total. So this button does not do anything at this moment. It basically, if I don't touch anything here, within about a minute, the entire screen goes off into sleep mode, and the only thing that's going to be popping up or be visible to let you know that there are power connected is going to be that power button. So during our talk, you might be able to see it actually just goes off into the sleep mode with the temperature goes off, with all the other buttons goes off. Just quickly, over here is a warm function, which keeps the water, once you reach the desired set point, press that warm function, it's going to keep water warm at a certain particular temperature. And before I go into the temperature settings, this is displaying Fahrenheit, and there's no option to change this into Celsius degrees. So for people who are used to Celsius degrees controls, sometimes it's easier because 100 degrees Celsius is boiling point, and for Fahrenheit is 212. So a lot of conversion with Fahrenheit, but once you get used to it, it's rather quickly. Okay, now the screen went off. If you press any other place, it's not gonna do anything. This LED light is gonna be pulsating, which means it's in sleep mode. To bring back the screen, that's where you press this little power button. Okay, so it's that feature. Before the boiling starts, you press the power button to bring the screen on. Over here, the plus minus is a quick temperature set for you to start boiling the water to certain degrees that you like. And it's once you press this button and set a temperature, you don't have to press anything because it starts boiling immediately, starts heat up immediately. So just be prepared when you press any of those buttons, it's gonna go into boiling mode. Okay, so keep that in mind. Plus minus is to set the temperature. The lowest temperature you can set on here, Fahrenheit wise, is gonna be 104. And you can go at every 9 degrees Fahrenheit, so 5 degrees Celsius, and that's the actual full boiling point, 212 degrees Fahrenheit. Every 9 degrees Fahrenheit is a set point, so you can very precisely control how what temperature you want the water to be boiled. If you have a particular temperature that you absolutely love, you can set it very precisely here in 5 degrees Celsius / 9 degrees Fahrenheit increment. Okay, you can hear once you leave your fingers off, it starts to boil. I did a test for a full boil for this device is about 7 minutes. So 6 to 7 minutes, depending on how warm the actual tap water is. They made a note in the instruction that tells you do not use hot water when you try to boil something. Just use cold water to bring it to boil from cold. And that's their recommendation. So I always use cold water, but some people, they might use hot water from their water tank for boiling. I wouldn't suggest that because a lot of times water goes into water tank, is going to have lime and it's going to have calcium deposit and scales. So always just use tap water. It's probably your best bet. You can see how quick it brings the temperature up. And again, as I said, the sensor is rather responsive. So it gives you the real-time temperature of the water in here. What we used is the temperature controlled boiling. So we can even change it to a particular temperature that you like during boiling. So once it reaches 113 degrees Fahrenheit, it's gonna beep and it's gonna turn itself off. And that's how convenient the temperature control on this machine is. Using the customized, using just the manual plus and minus temperature control. And with that said, we will actually just have it stop boiling at the temperature that I set. So let's set it to 104. Once the temperature reaches it turns the device off automatically. And you can see that power button is going to go into pulsating mode again because it just stopped heating because the temperature has reached. Now, if you want this thing to keep heating the water in here, if you're like brewing a tea using a teapot, actually, you want water here to be constant. You can set using you press on the power button. You can use this warm function. And once you have the warm function, let's see, you can you can make sure that it brings that water into the warm zone. Right now, it is set above the temperature of the water. So what the warm setting does is within a certain time interval, it checks on the temperature in here. And if the temperature drops below the set point, it will bring the temperature up, okay? And I never used that warm function before, so I don't really know how it works. But I think once it beeps and it is flashing, it is keeping that temperature. So within a minute or two, it checks the temperature and it brings the temperature up from whatever temperature that dropped below. So that's a warm function. The rest of those 4 buttons are quick access temperature control. The button that I use most personally is for white tea brewing, which is set at 156 degrees. There are other 2 settings that I think also might be beneficial to you if you brew a lot of other teas. For green tea or for black tea for that matter, you want to set the temperature at 176 degrees Fahrenheit to brew those teas to bring and maximize the flavor. White tea, I use it for my herbal tea brewing. There are no caffeine in those teas, and you don't need to really necessarily heat it up above 156. So I always just, when I come over here with my water, I literally just hit white, and it tells you can brew to 158 degrees, and the machine immediately starts brewing. And now you can just go away. Once it reaches that brewing point, it's gonna beep, okay? So what I also does with this, because of the filter over here, okay, is you don't need an extra teapot. Like literally, I'm gonna go find 2 teapots, drop it in here, and start brewing my herbal tea, right? So the thing I'm gonna use is tangerine orange from Celestial herbal tea, and I love this one because it's tangerine because it's got a lot of orange flavor. And I simply just gonna take 2 tea bags, drop it in here, close it, and have it brew. Once the temperature is reached, which is gonna be rather quickly, 258 from the 104 that we already set, and you can feel it's warm. Now the nice thing about the plastic is it's cool touch, so you can literally just touching any other area without getting burned. If you want to get burned, you can always touch the glass, which is sometimes very hot once it's brewed, okay? Now, as I mentioned, the cool thing is that filter over there. Nothing is going to come out to your glass once you finish brewing, and that's the beauty of it. While it's brewing, I'm also going to cut some orange pieces. I'm going to drop those oranges in there, also let the orange piece brew to bring additional tangerine zesty flavor into this tea. So this is a type of a Asian orange that's rather delicious. I'm gonna drop in here, and have everything just brewing right in there without having to use an extra teapot. And so yeah, so far it's gonna be 151 degrees, so it's gonna be very quick. 53 to 58, it's gonna beep and stop right there. Okay, the temperature has reached, it turned itself off. Perfect temperature for a white/herbal tea setting. Over here is where you can probably keep that warm setting to make sure that the temperature stays above 149 degrees. All right, so I really want to demonstrate the keep warm function properly one more time so you guys don't get confused when I at the beginning talked about the keep warm turning itself off. Okay, so basically right now I have the tea kind of brewed at 152 degrees, so it's kind of warm inside. I'm gonna press the keep warm function and set a temperature to keep it warm at maybe 158 degrees. All right, so once you set this temperature, it will do a trickle heating to bring that temperature up to 100 or keep it close to 158 degrees Fahrenheit. So whatever the temperature you set is going to come on and off and keep it at that precise temperature. You can hear the machine clicking on and off. And it's going to bring it to 150, 58 or 59. Let's see. Okay, once it reaches that temperature, it beeps, and this button will be flashing. Now, the cool thing about this keep warm is I can literally just lift this off, pour it, and put it back on there. Guess what? That function remains there. It's gonna keep this warm at your set temperature. So you could set it a little bit lower than the actual point that you originally set, but that's a cool thing with keep warm. So it's gonna stay keep warming for this function is if you don't turn it off, you lift it off and you put it back on. Let's see. For a certain amount of time, it will turn itself off. I believe it's 10 times pouring. So you have to lift this off for about 10 times and then the function actually disappears. Let's see. I'm literally just abusing this machine. So you lift it off for about 10 times, it will turn itself off. As you can see right now, it went to the normal mode, which is not heating, it's just displaying the temperature. And if you don't touch anything, the machine will turn itself off into standby. So that's the keep warm function. So it keeps the setting for a while. When you pour it, you put it back for about 10 times. It's gonna keep that keep warm setting, which is really, really cool for this water kettle. Again, for the $35 you pay and the amount of features that they build into this computer controlled, temperature controlled setting is simply amazing. So I just want to do this special section for the keep warm to keep you guys informed at how cool this setting is, okay, besides the precise temperature control. Again, at this point, I have absolutely zero complaint about this machine, but some other features could be improved, as I said. First thing first, what is kind of slightly annoying is that this top cover, okay, you press the top cover, yeah, it opens up to this stage, okay, but you cannot remove it. So if you put this into your sink to try to put water in here, and a lot of times it doesn't go all the way, so the water sometimes it might just hit here, and you have to physically like get it out of the way just a little bit extra to make sure the water can go in. Look at this beautiful tea that it just brewed, okay, it's absolutely beautiful. And yeah, the reason I love this kettle is just I can brew all kinds of stuff in here, and it's a nice tempered glass. Nothing gets out. Now I use the tea bags right here. if you don't have tea bag, if you have just loose leaf teas, same thing. This filter is gonna keep everything out of the way. Okay, very, very nicely. So that's first thing, which is the design of the lid, which is now removable. So keep that in mind. The second thing is I am left-handed. So a lot of times after me finish pouring the tea, it's gonna look like this. Now, sadly, for us left-handed users, a lot of times it's hard to find anything left-hand optimized, including like kitchen knives. So what I have to do, okay, after I pour some of the thing over here and continue let it brew, is I literally have to use a muscle memory to bring this back so I know what the temperature is currently inside. So that are the two downsides, slight downsides that I have against this machine, but none of those is going to prevent everybody from buying this, because at $35 with a super precise temperature control, with a full customized wrench for temperature control, and 4 additional buttons for quick settings to reach the desired temperature, you cannot beat this kettle at this price range. I looked around and this is absolutely the best value, okay, on Amazon. Elite Gourmet temperature controlled water kettle. I am not paid by this company to do this advertisement. I simply bought this kettle and I was so impressed. I thought I'd come out and do this very detailed review for you guys so you see what I'm talking about. Okay, so hopefully I think I went through all the features and the downsides of this water kettle. Again, super versatile, and I even literally just brewed 1 cup of tea while we're talking about this, and that's how cool, how good, how much I love this device. If you want to support my channel, please feel free to go to the description and use my affiliated links to buy this water kettle on Amazon. I get a small commission from the click and the purchase that you make on Amazon. Otherwise, if you found my video helpful, please do hit the like button and subscribe. I will have more kitchen gadget reviews coming out for you guys. So thanks again, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.